This was just a rusty, broken black sword. Gathering dust in a storehouse was supposed to be its destiny. But when it was discovered by a lowly outer sect laborer with no spiritual roots and no hope of cultivating, both of their fates changed completely. The boy soon discovered a secret. Every time he chopped something with this sword, he could absorb a surge of mysterious spiritual energy. From then on, he hacked his way to the top, boosting his power and forging a completely unique path to immortality. Right now, at the myriad bamboo peak of the profound heaven sword sect, a man was yelling at a group of laborers. "Hurry it up, myriad bamboo peak is short on hands. You'll get 1 silver piece for every spirit jade bamboo you chop down." The booming voice belonged to Zhao Li. He was the overseer of the servant quarters, a nasty piece of work with a hooked nose and a fat, cruel face. He was loudly chewing on roasted soybeans, while herding all of you like a flock of ducks. Dragging your scrawny, underfed body, you trailed at the very back of the line. You stared at the broad, muscular backs of the guys in front of you, your eyes dark with bitterness. 1 silver piece, that was an absolute fortune. More money than you'd ever seen in your entire life. You absolutely had to get your hands on that money. An hour later, at the foot of Myriad Bamboo Peak, Zhao Li kicked the door of the bamboo storehouse wide open. "Go in and grab your tools. Grab what you need and get your asses up the mountain to work." "Move it." The laborers swarmed into the hut like a pack of starving wolves. Knowing your place, you hung back and stood outside. You waited until the mob was done fighting over the gear before slowly walking inside. The place was totally trashed. Forget about finding a decent blade. There wasn't even a sharp piece of scrap metal left. Those greedy bastards had snagged 3 or 4 blades each, just so they wouldn't have to waste time sharpening them later. "What a bunch of shameless thugs," you muttered under your breath. You started digging through the pile of broken junk. Finally, you pulled out a black iron sword that was rusted completely to hell. The thing was nearly 4 feet long, about 4 fingers wide, and absurdly heavy the moment you picked it up. It had to weigh over 100 pounds. You frowned. With a weight like this, forget about chopping bamboo. Just swinging it twice would completely drain whatever little energy you had. You were just about to toss it back when the hilt suddenly vibrated in your palm. You figured you were just hallucinating from hunger. But a split second later, a thin, icy stream of energy shot from the hilt straight into your hand, rushing through your entire body in a flash. Your dizzy, exhausted mind instantly sharpened. "What the hell are you staring at? Get your ass up the mountain and work." Zhao Li's impatient roar echoed from the doorway. Your eyes narrowed. This sword was definitely something special. To avoid drawing any unwanted attention, you quickly grabbed 2 other pieces of junk, tied them together with the sword, slung them over your shoulder, and walked out. "Overseer Zhao, I've got my gear." Zhao Li shot you a look of pure disgust. "Get lost." Carrying the massive iron sword, you steered clear of the rest of the group. You deliberately took the most remote, hidden trails. Right now, chopping bamboo wasn't your priority. Your only goal was to figure out what the hell this black sword actually was. An hour later, you slipped into a secluded little ravine. After making absolutely sure no one was around, you tossed the scrap metal aside and gripped the black sword tightly with both hands. The black sword vibrated once again. That same icy energy flooded into your body, and the burning ache in your shoulders vanished completely. This is definitely a magical treasure. Your heart was pounding in your chest. Familiar trope from all those old cultivation legends flashed through your mind. Blood binding. Give it a try. You steel your heart. Pressing your finger hard against the blade, you slice it open. Golden blood wells up. In an instant, the blade sucks it completely dry. It really can absorb golden blood. Your eyes widen, your breathing growing heavy. 10 breaths later, the black sword suddenly jolts. The rust on its surface shatters and flies off, revealing a blade covered in dark red patterns. 2 ancient characters are engraved right on it, Fu Xian. Suddenly, the hilt's temperature spikes. It gets searing hot, like gripping a red-hot branding iron. Oh my god, so hot. You are in so much pain you want to scream. But you clench your teeth and hold it in, terrified of drawing anyone's attention. To your shock, the black sword melts right in your hands, turning into a puddle of boiling liquid. It forcefully drills straight into your palm. Then, the pain vanishes. You open your hand, and right there in the center of your palm is a tattoo of a tiny black sword. With a single thought, you command, "Come out." A flash of black light, and the Fu Xian sword appears out of thin air in your grasp. And it has gotten lighter. Now it only weighs about 15 pounds. It feels just right to swing. Return. The sword instantly vanishes back into your palm. You test this back and forth a few times, almost screaming out loud with excitement. Even though you're still a weakling with no spiritual roots, having this phantom-like sword at least gives you a trump card to save your life. Let's test its power first. You walk up to a thick stalk of spirit jade bamboo. This kind of bamboo is as hard as solid jade. An ordinary person couldn't chop it down even if they tried all day. You take a deep breath and swing the sword with all your might. Crack, a crisp sound echoes, and a deep gash appears on the bamboo stalk. At the exact same time, a cool, refreshing stream of energy surges from the hilt into your body. You feel completely energized. You bring the sword down for another strike. Clang, the energy flows in continuously. The more you chop, the more energetic you feel. The more you chop, the stronger you get. A thought suddenly pops into your head. What if I chop something else? You turn and viciously slash at a man-sized boulder nearby. Smash. Sparks fly everywhere. The massive recoil leaves your hand totally numb. But immediately after, a boiling hot current rushes right into your body, burning you up with a feverish heat. Chopping bamboo gives cool energy. Chopping stone gives hot energy. What about chopping the ground? You strike the ground with your sword. What flows in is a faint, gentle stream of air. Now you understand. This Fu Xian sword can, through the simple action of chopping, absorb energy from objects and feed it back to you. Even without spiritual roots, you can rely on this to get stronger. A crazy thought flashes through your mind. What if I use it against a person? Or a demonic beast? You quickly suppress that dangerous thought. Right now, you're still a complete small fry. Laying low and grinding is the true way to go. First, chop bamboo to make some money, and strengthen your body while you're at it. 1 hour later, with a deafening crash, the first massive spirit jade bamboo toppled right in front of you. An unprecedented surge of triumph washed over you. You pulled out your identity token, and were just about to activate it to call Zhao Li, but you froze. No, that's way too fast. You usually play the role of a total loser. Finishing this quickly would definitely raise eyebrows. In this dog-eat-dog world, showing off your true strength is just asking for a death wish. You turned around and practiced your swordsmanship like a madman against a massive boulder. It wasn't until 4 hours later that you finally activated the token. A short while later, Zhao Li showed up with someone else. It was Wang Meng, a senior servant with a mixed 4-element spirit root. He always threw his weight around just because he could cultivate, and made your life a living hell. Wang Meng strutted over, didn't even glance at the bamboo, and just viciously kicked you right in the chest. You were sent crashing to the dirt, your chest exploding in agonizing pain. You nearly blacked out. Meanwhile, he swaggered over and slapped his own token right onto the bamboo you had just chopped down. He turned back and gave Zhao Li a sickeningly sweet smile. Manager Zhao, your eyes were bloodshot with absolute fury. You struggled to your feet. Wang Meng, I chopped that bamboo down. Have you got no shame? Wang Meng just hawked and spat right in your face. He glared at you like a rabid dog. So what if I don't? What the hell are you gonna do about it? Say one more word, and see if I don't beat you half to death. You looked over at Zhao Li, hoping he'd at least be fair. But Zhao Li just stared at you like you were a piece of trash. He spoke with ice in his voice. Han Feng, a piece of garbage like you is just a waste of good rations. Wang Meng is about to be promoted to an outer sect disciple. Giving him this bamboo is an absolute honor for you. With that, he pulled out his spirit pen and marked both Wang Meng's token and the bamboo. You shameless bastards, you were shaking violently with rage, your knuckles cracking as you clenched your fists. This is complete bullshit. Wang Meng immediately kicked you to the ground again. You dare disrespect Manager Zhao? You're asking for a beating. Zhao Li put his spirit pen away and glared down at you with utter contempt. Chop down 2 more before nightfall. If you're short even a single one, forget about eating tonight. I'll skin you alive. And with that, the 2 of them strutted off. You lay there in the dirt, the stabbing pain in your chest making every breath sound like a broken bellows. Humiliation and pure rage boiled inside your chest like molten lava. Just you wait. One of these days, you gritted your teeth and forced yourself up, summoning your floating immortal sword. Power. All of this happened because you lacked power. If you were a chi condensation cultivator right now, there's no way those 2 punks would dare treat you like this. You imagined the bamboo in front of you as Zhao Li and Wang Meng's disgusting faces, and swung your sword like an absolute madman. Fury was the ultimate fuel. With every single strike, the energy surging into your body seemed to grow wildly more explosive. Chop, you relentlessly vented your rage, slashing wildly between the tough bamboo and the solid rock. Two intense currents of energy, one freezing and one scorching, violently collided and fused within you, continually tempering your body. Before sunset, you finally chopped down the third bamboo. By the time you returned to the camp at the foot of the mountain, it was pitch black. The laborers were so exhausted they just collapsed on the ground, waiting for dinner. But as for you, even though you pretended to be completely drained on the outside, your body was actually surging with explosive power. Surprisingly, there was braised pork for dinner. Thanks to the laborers from 10,000 Bamboo Ridge, Zhao Li didn't dare to push things too far, so he let you sit at the table. You wolfed down the meat you hadn't tasted in ages, listening to the guys around you bragging and shooting the breeze. Hey, I heard some new girls arrived at the pleasure house down the mountain. Gorgeous figures, man oh man. Give it a rest. With your measly wages, you couldn't even afford a sip of their bathwater. You listened quietly, while scheming how to use the floating immortal sword to grow stronger, faster. Right at that moment, rumble, the earth suddenly shook violently, knocking the bowl right out of your hands. A blinding pillar of purple light shot up into the sky from the southeast, piercing straight through the clouds. A terrifying wave of energy swept out in all directions, pressing down so hard that no one could breathe. What's going on? That's coming from Heavenly Peak. The crowd erupted in an uproar. Everyone stared in absolute terror at that heaven-reaching pillar of light. At the exact moment the light appeared, you felt a burning heat in your palm. Looking down, the fairy sword tattoo was actually glowing with a faint azure light, as if resonating with that purple beam from afar. The pillar of light lasted for 10 breaths before fading away. Suddenly, a massive, ancient voice exploded across the heavens and the earth, echoing endlessly. Ha ha ha, 500 years, heaven blesses our sect. Heavenly Peak has finally produced another holy maiden. A holy maiden? The surroundings instantly exploded into chaos. Everyone fell into a feverish debate. You didn't join their frenzy, but instead stared dead on at your palm as it slowly calmed down. Your intuition told you that this high and mighty holy maiden of Heavenly Peak, and the sword in your hand, definitely shared some kind of connection you couldn't even begin to imagine right now. One morning, a month later, outside the dining hall, a streak of rainbow light tore through the sky. It was Zhou Yuan, an outer sect disciple from Azure Peak, flying in on his sword. Behind him was a shifty-eyed new laborer, named Lu Titsu. The laborers present immediately fell to their knees. Even the manager, Zhao Li, and Zheng Ming from 10,000 Bamboo Ridge were no exception. If you haven't entered the Qi condensation realm, you are nothing but an ant in the eyes of an immortal master. Zhou Yuan landed, pointed coldly at Lu Titsu, and said to Zhao Li, "This new guy belongs to your Black Stone Mountain." Zhao Li agreed with a fawning look on his face. But Zheng Ming, standing nearby, got anxious and started complaining with a wronged expression, saying that 10,000 Bamboo Ridge was short on hands and the higher-ups were playing favorites. Zhou Yuan felt a bit awkward. He had wanted to give this good seedling with a 3-element mixed spirit root to Zhao Li, who knew how to kiss up, but ended up coming to the wrong place. To smooth things over, Zhou Yuan casually ordered Zhao Li, "The new guy stays. You pick a veteran laborer from Blackstone Mountain to give to 10,000 Bamboo Ridge." Zhao Li rolled his eyes slyly, his gaze sweeping through the crowd like a venomous snake, before finally locking onto you. "Han Feng, get your ass over here." You stepped forward as ordered, and Zhao Li shoved you right in front of Zheng Ming, like tossing out the trash. "This brat is yours now." Zheng Ming frowned as he looked at you. You had been eating like a horse for the past month, but when it came to working, you were dead last. You were known as a complete failure. Zhao Li smirked and asked if he wanted to take you in. Zheng Ming gritted his teeth and said, "I'll take him." 10,000 Bamboo Peak was just way too short-staffed. The transfer was done in a flash, the moment the Black Stone Mountain on your ID tag changed to 10,000 Bamboo Peak. The handymen at Black Stone Mountain burst into roaring, unrestrained laughter. "Ha ha ha, finally, we don't have to look at this loser anymore. Oh man, it's a real shame I won't have anyone to wash my clothes and rub my back anymore." They mocked you endlessly, acting as if kicking you down made them superior. Zheng Ming looked grim, but all he could do was pat your shoulder to comfort you. before leading you back to 10,000 Bamboo Peak. For you, this was pure relief. Even though Zheng Ming wasn't very capable, at least he didn't dock your pay or work you to the bone. Most of the handymen at 10,000 Bamboo Peak were old, weak, or sick, but they were incredibly kind to you. To help you out, they even gave you 2 brand new machetes. You thanked them and headed alone to a remote part of the bamboo forest. The spirit jade bamboo here grew right next to giant boulders. Others found it to be a massive hassle, but it was exactly what you wanted. You tossed aside the machetes and summoned that rusty soaring immortal sword. For the past month, you had been secretly chopping rocks while cutting bamboo to build up your strength. Now, your hearing, your vision, and your power were completely on another level. You could easily lift a 1,000-pound boulder with just one hand. 2 hours later, you were totally absorbed in chopping when an incredibly arrogant voice suddenly rang out behind you. "Get the hell out of here right now." You whipped your head around. It was none other than Lu Titsu and Wang Meng, those 2 absolute nightmares. With their arms crossed, they were dead set on the bamboo you had almost chopped down. They were clearly here to rob you. You forced your anger down. "Wang Meng, I'm with 10,000 Bamboo Peak now. You dare try and rob me? So what if I rob you? What's that old geezer Zheng Ming going to do about it?" Wang Meng sneered with utter contempt and gave you a final warning. "I'll give you to the count of 3. If you don't want to get hurt, get lost." Smart man knows when to back down. You gritted your teeth, swallowed your rage, and picked up the 2 machetes from the ground, getting ready to leave. "Not so fast," Wang Meng called out to stop you. He pointed straight at the machetes in your hands. "Leave the blades." Your eyes turned ice cold. "Don't push your luck. I'm pushing it, so what?" Wang Meng openly provoked you. You took a deep breath, threw the machetes to the ground, and turned to walk away. "Stop right there." This time, it was Lu Titsu. He stared menacingly at the soaring immortal sword in your hand. "Leave the sword, too." That was the last straw. You put up with them stealing your bamboo. But now they wanted to take the sword that was practically your lifeline. "You guys are really backing me into a corner." You gritted your teeth, your blood absolutely boiling with rage. Lu Titsu had a sharp eye. He could tell your rusty sword was no ordinary weapon. He was dead set on taking it. Wang Meng, eager to suck up to Lu Titsu, didn't say a word and charged at you like a wild bull. He raised his foot for a heavy kick. If this were in the past, you definitely would have been sent flying. But now, you easily dodged it with a slight shift of your body. Wang Meng's kick hit nothing but empty air. He stumbled forward, his face full of absolute disbelief. Furious and humiliated, he pulled out his machete. His muscles bulged wildly. He was using some kind of secret technique. He fiercely slashed at you once again. Whoosh! The machete scraped right past your neck, leaving a golden scratch. You touched the wound, and your hand came away with golden liquid. Your eyes instantly turned deadly cold. This bastard actually wanted you dead. "Well, since you want to end me, then don't blame me for tearing you apart." You stopped dodging, swung the Fuxian sword, and met his attack head-on. Clang! Sparks flew everywhere. Wang Meng was knocked back 4 steps from the impact. A massive chunk was actually chipped off his machete. Meanwhile, your rusty sword didn't have a single scratch. A scorching wave of heat surged through the hilt and right into your body. It felt so incredibly good that you shivered. Seeing this, the greed in Lu Tieju's eyes burned even brighter. He turned into a blur and rushed forward. His speed was terrifyingly fast. He slammed his palm right into your chest, and you were sent flying backward. You crashed hard into a bamboo tree, a thin line of golden blood leaking from the corner of your mouth. This guy is so damn strong. He truly lives up to having a 3-element mixed spirit root. Lu Titsu didn't give you a single moment to breathe. His attacks rained down like a violent storm. You barely managed to block with the Fuxian sword. With every single clash, your hands went numb from the brutal shock. But at the exact same time, the hot current flowing into your body grew stronger and stronger. The more you fought, the more energized you became. The more you fought, the stronger you felt. On the flip side, Lu Titsu grew more and more shocked. Failing to take you down after so long made him anxious. He roared out, "Wang Meng, attack together." Hearing this, Wang Meng immediately swung his broken blade and joined the fight. The 2 of them closed in on you from the left and the right. Die! Wang Meng slashed his blade right at your right arm. Golden sparks scattered, a deep gash was ripped open on your arm. The agonizing pain made your movements falter. Lu Titsu seized the opening and violently kicked you flying. You crashed heavily against a massive boulder. Another mouthful of golden blood splattered onto the Fuxian sword. The Fuxian sword seemed to be triggered by something, vibrating violently. An unprecedented, massive surge of energy violently exploded into your body. You felt like you were going to burst. Your eyes instantly turned blood red. Go down. You let out a beast-like roar and charged at the two of them like an absolute madman. You fiercely swung your sword. Clang. Sparks exploded. The weapons in their hands were instantly sliced cleanly in half. Before Wang Meng could even react, you had already dashed right into his face. You brought your sword down in one swift strike. Ah, my hand. Wang Meng screamed as he collapsed to the ground. His wrist was severely mangled, falling into the dirt alongside his broken blade. You completely saw red. Without missing a beat, you spun around and slashed right across his throat. Wang Meng's eyes widened in terror. He clutched his neck, convulsed a few times, and went completely limp. Lu Titsu was scared out of his mind. He turned and bolted. You think you can run? Your legs coiled with power, and you launched yourself forward like a cannonball. Kicking up a fierce gust of wind, you caught up to Lu Titsu in an instant. You brought your sword down hard onto his back. Lu Titsu shrieked and slammed into the ground. The wound was incredibly deep. He begged for mercy in absolute terror. Don't touch me. My brother is an outer sect disciple. If you finish me off, he won't let you get away with it. Trying to threaten you? You're dead either way. Let's just finish you off first. The cold intent in your eyes grew even sharper. Without a second thought, the floating immortal sword sliced across his neck. A burst of golden light erupted. Lu Titsu thrashed around in agony on the ground for a few moments, before going completely still. Right at that moment, the floating immortal sword trembled violently again. An incredibly overbearing surge of energy violently rushed into your body. Boom! You felt like something deep inside your body had just shattered. The spiritual energy from the surroundings swarmed toward you like crazy, drilling straight into your pores. It felt like countless needles were piercing your skin. The pain was absolutely excruciating. You couldn't hold it back anymore, dropping to the ground, rolling and screaming in agony. The commotion quickly drew a crowd. Zheng Ming and Zhao Li arrived one after the other. Seeing the two lifeless bodies on the ground and you writhing in pain, everyone was absolutely stunned. Who did this? Zhao Li roared in fury. Those two were his precious cash cows. Just then, a terrifyingly powerful aura suddenly erupted from your body. A faint layer of white light surfaced over your skin. That's the spiritual light shield. Gasps of shock broke out among the crowd. Han Feng broke through. He actually broke through to the Qi condensation realm. The handymen from 10,000 Bamboo Ridge shouted in pure excitement. The guys from Blackstone Mountain all went wide-eyed, staring like they had just seen a ghost. That's impossible. This piece of trash doesn't even have a spirit root. How could he possibly break through? Zheng Ming was the first to snap out of it. He yelled at you at the top of his lungs. Han Feng, hurry up and circulate your energy. Guide the spiritual energy. Hearing his shout, you fought through the agonizing pain and sat up cross-legged. You started running that basic, entry-level glazed Qi condensation technique. Spiritual energy poured in madly, flowing along your meridians and pooling right into your dantian. The very next moment, your consciousness was pulled into a mysterious, hazy gray space. You snapped your eyes open. The exact moment that white vortex of energy formed inside you. It was done. The Qi condensation realm. Whoever said you couldn't cultivate without a spirit root? You, Han Feng, are going to show these damn heavens a thing or two today. Before the sharp glint in your eyes could even fade, the congratulatory cheers from the surrounding handymen were already ringing out. Zheng Ming was smiling so hard his wrinkled old face scrunched up like a blooming flower. After all, you were his new cash cow now. But someone else wasn't about to let you have it easy. Han Feng, you piece of trash, you better explain yourself right now. What the hell happened to Lu Titsu and Wang Meng? Zhao Li charged right at you, his eyes red with rage. The guy looked like he wanted to eat you alive. You broke through the moment he transferred his men out, and it cost him 2 of his subordinates' lives. There was no way he was gonna swallow that insult. Dead silence fell over the crowd. Every single eye was glued to you. You stared right back into Zhao Li's twisted, furious face, and cut straight to the chase. Your voice was ice cold. I took them out. You admitted it so casually that it left everyone completely dumbfounded. Was this really the same worthless Han Feng they used to push around? Zhao Li was shaking with absolute rage. He pointed right at your face and screamed, spitting everywhere as he yelled. Looking at you like a rabid dog. If looks could kill, you'd have died 800 times over. But you didn't back down an inch. You stared dead into his eyes and threw the facts right back in his face. They tried to steal my bamboo, and then they went for my blade. When I refused, they tried to kill me. I fought back to save my own skin. You got a problem with that? Bullshit. Every strike was lethal, and you call that an accident? You'll pay for this with your life. Zhao Li wasn't listening to reason at all. He raised his fist and rallied his guys. The Blackstone Mountain gang behind him immediately started roaring, screaming for your blood. The noise was deafening, just as manager Zheng Ming tried to step in and pull rank. Zhao Li shoved right past him. A massive brawl was about to break out. Shut the hell up, you roared. You unleashed your chi refining aura without holding anything back. It was the crushing pressure of a true cultivator. The screaming thugs instantly turned pale as ghosts, choking on their words like chickens grabbed by the neck. You stepped right up to the front line, your glare slicing through the crowd like a blade. Your voice was dead serious, laced with the ruthless intent of a man who had nothing to lose. Whoever isn't afraid to die, step right up. I've already dropped 2 guys today. I really don't mind dragging a few more down to hell with me. That totally unhinged, crazy attitude instantly paralyzed every single person there. The Blackstone Mountain crew stumbled backward in terror, finally looking at you with genuine fear in their eyes. The guy they used to call trash could snap their necks in a heartbeat now. Disgusted by these cowards, you didn't even bother looking at them anymore. You just turned to Zheng Ming and said, "Let's go." Then you walked straight down the mountain without ever looking back. Zhao Li was so furious his lungs were about to burst, but he could only helplessly stand there and watch you walk away. He gritted his teeth, forced to order his men to haul off the 2 dead bodies. A little while later, a streak of light crashed down at the foot of Bamboo Ridge. It was Zhou Yuan, the outer sect disciple sent to guide you. When he saw you, his attitude did a total 180-degree flip. All that previous arrogance completely vanished, replaced by a super polite smile. In the cultivation world, power was absolutely everything. You skipped the small talk and stepped right onto the flying sword. You shot straight up into the clouds, the wind roaring fiercely past your ears. An endless sea of clouds churned beneath your feet, while Zhou Yuan led the way up ahead. He'd occasionally point to the streaks of light zipping past below, his tone a mix of showing off and giving subtle warnings. He rambled on about the rules for inner and outer disciples, but you were barely paying attention. Your mind was completely focused on your next move. After breaking through the sea of clouds, you both landed in front of a pavilion that looked full of ancient history, which was just a nice way of saying it looked pretty beat up. A massive sign reading, "Spirit Testing Pavilion," hung right over the entrance. Time to head inside, test your cultivation level, and finally grab your official identity badge. You're officially an outer sect disciple now, Zhou Yuan said, jutting his chin toward the line. The hall was packed with people. You took your place at the very back of the line. When your turn finally came, you pressed your hand against the crystal compass. You channeled your chi into it. Buzz. A ring of light flared up. Level 1 of chi condensation. You met the requirement, but, right in the center of the glowing ring, it was completely empty. The disciple running the test frowned so hard his eyebrows tied into a knot. What the hell? Where's your spirit root? Is the compass broken? You calmly spoke up. Don't have a spirit root. The moment those words left your mouth, 2 handymen waiting in line behind you completely lost it. No spirit root? Bro, are you pulling our legs? How could you possibly reach the chi condensation realm without a spirit root? Do you think we're idiots? A few outer sect disciples who were watching the drama unfold strolled over. They all wore mocking smirks, staring at you like you were some kind of clown. Hey now, you can eat whatever garbage you want, but don't just spout nonsense. If someone without a spirit root can cultivate, then pigs can fly. The jeering grew louder and louder. Even Zhou Yuan looked deeply suspicious, scanning your identity tag with his spiritual sense. But there it was, written in plain black and white. No spirit root. What the hell? Zhou Yuan was absolutely dumbfounded. Just then, an elderly but booming voice echoed from the doorway. What is all this racket? It was Elder Yan Chen of the Spirit Testing Pavilion. The disciple running the test grabbed onto him like a lifeline, quickly blurting out the whole situation. Elder Yan Chen raised an eyebrow. Without a single word, he marched right over. He planted a hand squarely on the top of your head, and a wave of scorching heat instantly surged through your entire body. A moment later, the old man pulled his hand back. He stared at you with a very bizarre expression, finally spitting out 4 words. Absolutely no spirit root. The entire hall instantly exploded into an uproar. Cultivating without a spirit root? This completely shattered everything they knew. Elder Yan Chen waved his hand, shutting down the frantic whispering. He gave you a deeply complicated look. The world is vast, and full of impossible things. There are always exceptions, but regardless, his cultivation level is exactly what it needs to be. The sect rules are clear. Level 1 of Qi condensation is enough to join the outer sect. Process his paperwork. The elder had spoken. Anyone who still had doubts just had to swallow them. The ones who had been mocking you the loudest just felt a massive, stinging slap to the face. They slinked away in absolute shame. You were handed a crisp, brand new gray robe, with the little sword emblem of Qingmo Peak stitched over the chest, and a new, jet black identity tag hung at your waist. From this moment on, you were no longer just the lowly handyman, Han Feng. You were Han Feng, outer sect disciple of the Xuanshan sword sect. As soon as you stepped out of the pavilion, before Zhou Yuan could even offer a word of congratulations, his face grew grim once again. Come on, let's go. We're heading to the disciplinary hall. You've still got a major case hanging over your head. This whole mess isn't over yet. Your heart skipped a beat, but you kept your face completely blank, following him all the way to the suffocatingly grim disciplinary hall. Sitting at the high table was Elder Qian Tong, a man with a fat head and massive ears. He stared at you, exactly like a butcher sizing up a fat lamb for the slaughter. The trial was shockingly fast. You didn't even get a chance to defend yourself. They practically threw the verdict right in your face. Han Feng, for injuring 2 fellow outer servants, you are spared the heavy penalty. But you are fined 1,010 spirit stones. If you can't pay, we will cripple your cultivation and kick you out of the sect. Your eyes widened in shock. You almost choked on your own breath. Over 1,000 spirit stones? That was straight up robbery. Even if you sold yourself, you wouldn't make a fraction of that. The fat elder seemed to expect your reaction, and casually twisted the knife. If you don't have the money, you can owe it to us for now. The sect is merciful. We'll just charge you interest. 2% monthly interest. This was the absolute worst kind of extortion. Gritting your teeth, you signed that IOU, which felt more like a slavery contract, and walked out of the disciplinary hall, drowning in debt. The joy of just getting promoted to the outer sect was instantly wiped out by this astronomical debt. Zhou Yuan tried to comfort you from the side. Come on, wipe that sad look off your face. You actually got lucky. That Lu Titsu was a genius seedling with 3 spirit roots. If he wasn't just a newly joined, low-level servant, you'd be paying way more for taking him out. Honestly, going by headcounts, you actually came out ahead. You rolled your eyes hard. In what universe was this a win? The rest of the process was a total rush. First, you hit the scripture pavilion to pick up the complete Blazed Qi refining art, even though they all thought it was a waste of time since you didn't have a spirit root. Finally, the Myriad Treasures pavilion. They said you could pick out a starter spirit weapon. But the moment you walked in, a massive wave of moldy air hit your face. Myriad Treasures pavilion? This place was practically a junkyard. The floor was covered in broken, busted junk. You dug through the trash for a whole hour. Pinching your nose, you picked out a dark iron heavy sword that looked halfway decent, even though the blade was covered in chips. The engraved runes were mostly worn off. Whatever, this will have to do. You walked out with the sword. Zhou Yuan told you to drip your golden blood on it right then and there to claim it. You cut your finger, and a drop of golden blood fell. Instantly, the broken sword started vibrating. A flash of red light. It turned into a streak of light, shooting straight into your dantian. Success on the very first try. An instant refinement. Zhou Yuan's eyes practically bugged out of his head. Even a top-tier genius doesn't refine their first spirit weapon this fast. Just how many freaky secrets are you hiding, kid? You completely ignored his shock. Feeling the heavy sword quietly floating in your dantian, a cold smirk finally crept onto your face. So what if you were drowning in debt? So what if you had no spirit root? Right now, the sword was in your hands, and the path was right under your feet. Anyone who blocked your way, you just cleave right through them with this sword. Zhou Yuan flew you on his sword over to a low mountain peak, pointing down at a courtyard halfway up the slope. That right there is Jade Spring Mountain. Your new home. You can hike up the rest of the way yourself. You nodded, drowning in massive debt, but carrying a sharp blade. You stepped onto this path of cultivation, filled with both brutal thorns and golden opportunities. Suddenly, a massive stone blocked your way. Zhou Yuan had told you about this. This was the Mountain Guardian Stone. Just place your nameplate on it, and the people inside will know you're here. Jade Spring Mountain was packed with spiritual energy, and luckily, there were still spots left for you. Let's test your luck. Zhou Yuan knew the chances were slim, but he brought you here anyway. He placed his own token down. With a low hum, cyan runes lit up. The giant boulder shifted, and a young man walked out from the heavy mist. He was clean-shaven, elegant, and strikingly handsome. Leng Feng. Zhou Yuan bowed with deep respect. He explained why they were there. Leng Feng just looked coldly indifferent. His gaze swept over you. Hand over the token. You handed it over, and he scanned it with his spiritual sense. His brows instantly locked together. No spiritual roots? Zhou Yuan nodded to confirm. Smack. Jade Spring Peak is full. Get lost. Leng Feng turned his back and vanished into the mist. With a heavy rumble, the Guardian Stone slammed shut, totally unforgiving. You frowned and asked Zhou Yuan. Didn't you say there were open spots, senior brother? Zhou Yuan sighed heavily. This is the harsh reality of the sect. Without spiritual roots, you're doomed to be seen as trash. Worthless. Just a burden dragging everyone down. They roll out the red carpet for geniuses, and shut out deadweight like you. Even if you got in, you'd face endless bullying and torment. Is everyone like that? Does that mean nobody wants me? You asked. We'll find someone, he replied. Zhou Yuan took you along as you hit wall after wall. One incense stick later, at the foot of Golden Arhat Peak. After glancing at your info, the guy threw your token into the dirt with utter disgust. A crippled piece of trash with no spiritual roots actually thinks he can join Golden Arhat Peak? Take a look in the mirror, you loser. The guy walked off, cursing under his breath. You ground your teeth in sheer anger, fists clenched tight. These absolute snobs. Zhou Yuan bent down and picked up the token. He dusted it off and handed it back to you. You only get respect when you have something to offer. That's just how the world works. Thanks, senior brother. You took the token back, a swirl of bitter emotions tearing at your chest. 6 grueling hours. You two visited dozens of mountain peaks. And every single time, it was the exact same result. The moment they found out you had no spiritual roots, all that contempt. All those disgusted glares pierced through you like daggers. You were exhausted, totally numb. Finally, the two of you arrived at a short, run-down little hill. There was no guardian stone. Just a winding, broken dirt path. There's no guardian stone here? You asked. There is. Zhou Yuan dug through the weeds and pulled out a black rock, about the size of a wash basin. Scrawled crookedly across it were 3 words. Wolf Fang Ridge. Looked like a dog had scratched it in. Zhou Yuan placed his token on it. A moment later, a scrawny man riding a bony little donkey casually wobbled his way out. His face was covered in scruff, with a vicious scar slashing right across his face. He wore an eye patch over his blind eye. Zhang Yuanshan. After a bit of polite small talk, Zhou Yuan explained why they had come. You hand over your name tag. Zhang Yuanshan glances at it. He mutters in surprise, no spiritual root at all. That's right, Zhang Yuanshan looks at you. He seems to understand. He doesn't mock you. He doesn't drive you away. He just calmly says, if you don't mind it, Wolf Fang Ridge is your home now. This sudden acceptance catches you off guard. You immediately bow deep. Thank you so much, senior brother Zhang. Zhou Yuan breathes a huge sigh of relief. He politely turns down Zhang Yuanshan's offer to drink, and takes his leave. After enduring so much scorn along the way, he's done all he can. You watch Zhou Yuan walk away, then turn and cup your fists to Zhang Yuanshan on the donkey. Greetings, senior brother Zhang. Don't call me senior brother. Just call me Uncle Li if you don't mind. Zhang Yuanshan waves it off. He turns the donkey around. Follow me. Wolf Fang Ridge, the bizarre rocks, look just like a dog's head from afar. Down at the foot of the mountain, a few stone huts are mostly caved in. It's more rundown than you could ever imagine. Woof, woof, woof. A scrawny black dog barks fiercely at you. Blackie, shut it, he's with us. Zhang Yuanshan snaps at the dog. Then he shouts toward the house, Elder Mo. We've got a new guy. Amidst a violent fit of coughing, an old man on a crutch shuffles out. His hair is totally white. His face is completely haggard. He's missing his left hand and his right leg. Even his right hand only has 3 fingers left. He's practically a broken shell of a man. His cloudy eyes look you up and down. You've gotta be kidding me. This kid is all soft and delicate. Got all his limbs too. And he actually wants to join our dumping ground for losers? You quickly step forward. Senior, I might be in One Piece, but I don't have a spiritual root. Everywhere else tossed me out. I'm just grateful Uncle Lee took me in. No spiritual root? Elder Mo pauses in shock. Then he actually laughs. Who the hell cares about a spiritual root? Still beats missing arms and legs like me. He goes back inside, grabs a pitch black lump, and hands it to you. Cow dung incense. Wakes you right up. A little welcome gift. You take the foul-smelling thing. Thank him, and pocket it. Yuanshan then leads you halfway up the mountain to a halfway decent courtyard. An old buddy used to live here. He passed away 6 months ago. It's all yours now. Your heart drops a little. Had an accident digging for herbs. Don't worry, make yourself at home. As you both start cleaning the dusty house, you find out Elder Mo used to be a level 9 chi condensation master. He had a high-grade wood spiritual root. An exploding alchemy furnace is what left him like that. Zhang Yuanshan injured his eye in a sect dispute. Elder Mo was the one who saved his life. Boom, a massive explosion rings out. The earth shakes and the mountains tremble. Oh crap, Zhang Yuanshan's face goes pale, and he dashes outside. You both rush down the mountain. Elder Mo's house is completely reduced to rubble. Zhang Yuanshan digs Elder Mo out of the rubble, his face completely charred black. Cough, cough, I ain't dead yet. Elder Mo shoves Zhang Yuanshan aside. He curses in sheer frustration. Damn it all. Failed again. A dog named Little Black digs Elder Mo's walking stick out of the rubble and brings it over to him. Elder Mo grabs the stick and gives the pup a pat on the head. He hops right onto his donkey and rides off. The donkey takes 2 steps, then suddenly stops. It lifts its rear, and with a loud splat, drops a massive, steaming pile of crap. Then it just trots away. Little Black steps around the mess in disgust and follows right behind. You're left totally speechless. You'll get used to it. He used to be a first-grade alchemist. Blew his whole setup to pieces, but the stubborn old coot just won't quit. Zhang Yuanshan sighs heavily, and starts the hard work of rebuilding the house. It takes the 2 of you over 2 hours to put the house back together. Afterwards, Zhang Yuanshan cooks up a big pot of sausage rice. The moment he lifts the lid, an incredible, mouth-watering aroma hits you. The rice is crystal clear, with every single grain perfectly plump. Resting right on top are 2 massive, sizzling sausages dripping with savory fat. Zhang Yuanshan scoops you a massive bowl. Eat up. You eagerly shove a mouthful in. Grains just burst with flavor in your mouth, sending a sweet rush of spiritual energy straight up to your brain. This is amazing. You spent 3 whole years as a lowly servant at the Mystic Heaven Sword sect. Eating worse than pig slop, and constantly going to bed starving. Even before joining the sect, you were a poor wretch who never knew where your next meal was coming from. Is this spirit rice? A pure luxury that costs 1 spirit stone for just 10 pounds. Your eyes instantly well up with tears. This long-lost feeling of being totally full, and just feeling so incredibly happy, makes you want to cry. Hey, what's wrong? Zhang Yuanshan asks gently. It's nothing. Just got some sand in my eye. You wipe your face, lower your head, and scarf down the rest of the food. Completely stuffed and satisfied, you head back to your new place halfway up the mountain to keep unpacking. While cleaning out a dusty black jar in the kitchen, you crack open the clay seal on the rim. Your eyes instantly bulge out of your head. Inside are 18 glowing, crystal clear stones. Spirit stones. This is an absolute fortune. That's equal to 1,800 pieces of silver. How many spirit jade bamboos would you even have to chop down to earn that much? You pinch your own thigh as hard as you can. Ouch. Yep, it hurts. It's not a dream. This has gotta be the secret stash left behind by the previous owner. Your heart starts pounding like crazy. Do you keep it all to yourself? Or do you turn it in? Zhang Yuanshan and Elder Mo have been nothing but good to you. But man, the temptation is just overwhelming. After a brutal mental tug of war, you grit your teeth, hug the jar tight, and sprint back down the mountain. Zhang Yuanshan and Elder Mo are sitting there, playing a game of chess. You dash right up to their stone table. Clack, clack, clack. You dump out 18 spirit stones, practically blinding everyone as they sparkle in the sunlight. Both of their jaws just completely drop. I found these hidden in the kitchen. They must have been left behind by the senior who passed away. You take a really deep breath. Uncle Lee, could you please make sure these get to his family? Zhang Yuanshan and Elder Mo just look at each other. And they burst out laughing. Elder Mo finally speaks up. That old-timer hasn't had family around for a long time. Since you're the one who found it, it means you were meant to have it. He slid the spirit stones toward you. Go on, take 'em. They're yours now. You froze for a second. The gang over at Blackstone Mountain had been bleeding you dry for way too long. So Elder Mo's sudden generosity really caught you off guard. Zhang Yuanshan smiled and nodded too. Han Feng, the fact that you trusted us with this secret means you treat us like family. Elder Mo is right. Cultivation is all about fate and opportunity. These spirit stones chose you. Just take them. I can't do that. You finally snapped out of it. Uncle Lee, Elder Mo. Finders keepers, right? But we should split it. Elder Mo chuckled. It's the thought that counts, kid. You just joined the outer sect. You're gonna need money for everything. Keep it for yourself. Exactly. Don't sweat it. Zhang Yuanshan chimed in. You couldn't win this argument, so you just gave them a deep, respectful bow. You packed the spirit stones back into the jar, but after taking a few steps, you turned right back around and slammed the jar back onto the stone table. The two elders stared at you in confusion. Uncle Lee, Elder Mo, I don't need the money right now. Just keep it here and hold onto it for me. Zhang Yuanshan laughed. No need for that. Our Wolf Fang Ridge is the absolute worst dump in the outer sect. Even the rats complain when they pass through. No thief is gonna bother robbing this place. Take it back and hide it wherever you want. Elder Mo nudged Zhang Yuanshan to hurry up and make his chess move. Zhang Yuanshan waved you off. Head back for now. Come find me in an hour. I'll show you around. You nodded. You hugged the jar to your chest and walked away. Once you were gone, Elder Mo placed a chess piece down and sighed in admiration. Incredible. That kid isn't greedy at all. Zhang Yuanshan nodded in agreement. People die for money, and cultivators are even greedier. This kid really is a rare breed. What's even more interesting, Elder Mo added, is that he's drowning in debt. He saw a massive windfall, and still didn't want to hog it all to himself. Debt? Zhang Yuanshan blinked in surprise. He had no idea where Elder Mo heard that. I asked Old Man Ku about him. Elder Mo spoke calmly. This kid has been here for 3 years. He's been working as a chore boy over at Blackstone Mountain, getting bullied endlessly. This morning at Bamboo Ridge, 2 other chore boys tried to rob him. And he took them out. Zhang Yuanshan's eyes narrowed. Took out 2 of them? Looks like this scrawny kid is pretty ruthless himself. Elder Mo nodded. He probably reached his breaking point and just snapped. He killed them, and then he broke through to the next level. It's just a shame. He doesn't have a spirit root. Zhang Yuanshan sighed. If he had a spirit root, he wouldn't have ended up here at Wolf Fang Ridge anyway. Back at your place, you set the jar down. The 2 elders' attitude toward the spirit stones completely shocks you. If that had been Zhao Li, he would have snatched them all up in a heartbeat. The difference between some people is honestly bigger than the difference between a man and a dog. Maybe they're just used to seeing big money in the outer sect, so they don't even care about this little bit. You stash the spirit stones safely away and go back to cleaning the room. Over at the Blackstone Mountain servant quarters, a streak of rainbow light shoots through the sky. Zhou Yuan touches down, bringing 2 scrawny, elderly servants with him. Zhao Li immediately leads the crowd in bowing down. Zhou Yuan tosses down 2 letters. One is the disciplinary hall's official ruling on Han Feng's case. The other contains the background files for these 2 newcomers. With that said, he hops onto his flying sword and takes off. Zhao Li frantically tears open the first letter. As he reads it, he starts shaking all over with pure rage. He shreds the letter to pieces. Han Feng took out Wang Meng and Lu Titsu. And his total fine is only 1,010 spirit stones? Lu Titsu was a top prospect for the outer sect, and he's only worth 10 spirit stones? On top of that, Blackstone Mountain won't see a single penny of that fine. The more Zhao Li thinks about it, the angrier he gets. He rips open the second letter. After reading the profiles of the 2 new servants, he shreds that letter too. 2 useless old geezers without a shred of spiritual roots. He just lost 2 elites, and the higher-ups replaced them with 2 pathetic weaklings? Peeved, Zhao Li's chest violently tightens, and he coughs up a mouthful of golden blood. His vision goes black, and he collapses to the ground, sending the surrounding servants into a panicked frenzy to save him. Meanwhile, over at the outer sect's Silver Peak, Lu Tieju's big brother, Li Tiejia, a fourth-stage chi condensation cultivator, finishes reading the disciplinary hall's letter. His face turns completely livid. He crumples the letter into a ball and viciously smashes it onto the ground. Damn it, how dare they touch my little brother? He leaps to his feet and storms right out of the courtyard. An hour later, you finish tidying up the courtyard and head down the mountain. Zhang Yuanshan is lying on a rocking chair under a tree, resting his eyes. Little Black is fast asleep right next to him. You walk up and respectfully call out, "Uncle Li." Zhang Yuanshan gets up, ready to show you around, when Little Black suddenly starts barking fiercely at the crossroads. You both look up to see three men charging straight at you, absolutely radiating murderous intent. A flash of anger crosses Zhang Yuanshan's eyes. Storming into Wolf Fang Ridge without paying respects at the gate? They're completely disrespecting Wolf Fang Ridge. The guy leading the pack, the one with the monolids, and the pointed forehead, with that dark, gloomy look on his face, is none other than Li Tiejia. He's got two lackeys trailing right behind him. One's built like a bamboo pole, and the other looks like a monkey. Zhang Yuanshan steps right in front of you, shielding you. He barks coldly, "Li Tiejia, what the hell are you doing at my Wolf Fang Ridge?" Li Tiejia glares daggers at you. His killing intent is practically boiling over. Zhang the half-blind, "I'm here for revenge. If you don't want to get hurt, get the hell out of my way." Revenge? Zhang Yuanshan sneers. What kind of grudge does he have with you? This little punk killed my brother, Lu Titsu. Li Tiejia's eyes are bloodshot red. He looks like a wild, rabid beast. Zhang Yuanshan furrows his brow, turning back to ask you, "What's going on here? Tell me." Back at Myriad Bamboo Ridge, he and Wang Meng tried to rob me and attack me. I fought back with everything I had and accidentally killed them. The disciplinary hall has already handed down their ruling. Zhang Yuanshan nodded and sneered coldly at Li Tiejia. You heard him. Your brother got exactly what he deserved. The disciplinary hall has already closed the case. Coming to our door like this breaks the rules. Get the hell out of here, or I'll call the guards. Li Tiejia cursed furiously. Zhang the half-blind, don't you dare use the rules to pressure me. I'm going to teach him a lesson today, no matter what. If you know what's good for you, step aside. Do you really think you can run wild here at Wolf Fang Ridge? Zhang Yuanshan remained completely unfazed. Are you sure you want to stick your neck out for this? I'll count to 3. If you don't get lost, I'll beat you into the ground too. Count? Screw counting. Zhang Yuanshan spat heavily on the ground. If you want to fight, bring it on. If you don't have the guts, get the hell out. You're asking for it. Li Tiejia roared in a blind rage. His aura exploded as he lunged fiercely at Zhang Yuanshan. Get back. Zhang Yuanshan used a palm of soft energy to push you 30 feet away. Li Tiejia's fist howled through the air, aiming straight for Zhang Yuanshan's face. Zhang Yuanshan threw a punch to meet it, sending shockwaves rolling outward. They both took a step back. Your heart pounded in shock. So this was a clash between chi condensation masters. As a mere level 1, you felt like an absolute ant in front of them. Li Tiejia was just as shocked. He was at level 4 of chi condensation. Zhang Yuanshan was only at level 3, yet he managed to block the attack. Zhang Yuanshan sneered, level 4 of chi condensation? Nothing special at all. Crouching tiger fist. Li Tiejia roared furiously, a blinding white light igniting around his fist. Accompanied by the roar of a tiger, he charged forward again. Zhang Yuanshan gritted his teeth. His inner energy surged, and with his fist glowing golden, he met the attack head-on. Boom! This time, Zhang Yuanshan was sent flying backward. He skid all the way back to you before regaining his footing. Li Tiejia had only stumbled back a few steps. The gap in their cultivation levels was obvious now. Zhang Yuanshan wiped a trail of blood from the corner of his mouth. His gaze remained utterly defiant. Is that all you've got? And you dare come here looking for a fight? Li Tiejia was utterly exasperated. Crimson lotus flames erupted around both his fists. He turned into a blur as he charged. Heavenly Fire Meteor Fist. A barrage of flaming fists rained down from the sky. Zhang Yuanshan's muscles bulged with explosive power. Radiating a blinding golden light, he threw a frenzy of punches to counter the onslaught. Boom, boom, boom. The flames were violently blasted apart. Zhang Yuanshan suddenly flashed a savage grin. Without dodging or backing down, he took Li Tiejia's punch squarely in the chest. At the exact same time, he slammed his own fist brutally into Li Tiehia's chest. Both men were sent flying backward, their auras instantly weakening. Li Tiehia's sternum was fractured, while Zhang Yuanshan had a broken rib. Ha ha ha, tastes pretty good, doesn't it? Zhang Yuanshan laughed maniacally between coughs, looking like an absolute madman. Humiliated that a proud level 4 had been wounded by an already injured level 3, Li Tiejia flew into a towering rage. With a flash of white light from his hand, he summoned a fiery red spirit sword. Zhang Yuanshan's eyes turned sharp and deadly. Getting serious now, huh? I'll play along. A glowing golden sword materialized in his hand as well. For a disciple of the profound Heaven Sword sect, our strongest weapon, is always the blade. Charge! The two of them turned into a raging storm and clashed. Swords flashed as they crossed paths. Just as Li Tiejia thrust his sword forward, Zhang Yuanshan didn't even dodge. Instead, he lunged forward. He deliberately let the blade pierce right through his own shoulder. And at the exact same time, Zhang Yuanshan flashed a wicked grin, thrusting his sword straight at Li Tiejia's energy core. Li Tiejia was horrified. He frantically dropped his weight to protect his vitals, but the blade still tore right through his left ribs. Go to hell! Zhang Yuanshan ruthlessly twisted the blade and backhanded Li Tiejia right across the face. Boom! The two broke apart, golden blood spraying through the air. Li Tiejia screamed as he stumbled back, barely able to stand. His two lackeys rushed to catch him. Zhang Yuanshan also staggered backward. You hurried over to help him, but he waved you off. I'm not dying today. Then, he burst into maniacal laughter at Li Tiejia. Ha ha ha, how's that feel, huh? Li Tiejia cursed. He never expected Zhang Yuanshan to be this vicious. It was a total suicide tactic. Zhang Yuanshan laughed so hard he started coughing uncontrollably. Li Tiejia roared at his lackeys, go! Grab that useless piece of trash. The two lackeys instantly charged right at you. The aura they unleashed showed they were both at level 3 of Qi condensation. Zhang Yuanshan's face went pale. He was badly injured, and you were only at level 1. There was no way you could stop them, but right at that moment, a sharp, ear-piercing whistle tore through the air. The two lackeys felt themselves locked down by a terrifying spiritual sense. Their faces drained of color. They turned around, only to see a walking cane shooting straight toward them. They panicked and raised their swords to block. Clang! The terrifying power inside that cane instantly blew their swords away, smashing brutally into their chests. The two were sent flying 20 feet back, coughing up golden blood. They crashed to the ground, screaming in sheer agony. The cane spun in the air and stabbed into the dirt right between them. Li Tiejia was absolutely stunned. To think Wolf Fang Ridge was hiding such a master. Cough, cough. A coughing sound echoed from old Mo's stone hut. Then came a bone-chilling voice. If you want to live, get the hell out. Now, the two lackeys fought through the pain, scrambling up to support Li Tiejia. He glared at you with pure hatred. Gritting his teeth, he hissed, you little brat. You just wait. If you've got the guts, don't ever leave Wolf Fang Ridge. With that, they scrambled away like beaten dogs. You stared at that walking cane, shocked beyond belief. Zhang Yuanshan had said old Mo was only at level 2 of Qi condensation. The sheer power of that cane could easily wipe out everyone here in a second. Little Black bounded over, grabbed the cane in its mouth, and brought it back inside. Soon after, old Mo walked out, leaning on that very cane. He glanced at Zhang Yuanshan. Stop trying to act tough. Peeved. Only then did Zhang Yuanshan finally spit out a mouthful of golden blood. His entire body went limp. You immediately rushed over and caught him. Old Mo walked over, tapped a few pressure points on his body to stop the energy leak, and tossed you a bottle of pills. Make him take this. With that, he shut the door and went back inside, acting as if he couldn't care less. You fed the pills to Zhang Yuanshan. He circulated his energy for a brief moment, and a bit of color finally returned to his face. You bowed deeply. Thank you for saving my life, Uncle Li. Zhang Yuanshan laughs. No need to be so polite. You're from my Wolf Fang Ridge. You think I just stand by and watch you get bullied? A wave of warmth washes over your heart. He laid his life on the line for you. I owe you big time, Uncle Li. You were absolutely awesome back there, you say from the bottom of your heart. Zhang Yuanshan chuckles. That guy Zhang Tiejia is just a coward. He was terrified the discipline hall would ruin his future with a heavy punishment, so he held back the whole fight. I controlled the entire pace. Suddenly, it all makes sense to you. Zhang Yuanshan's expression suddenly turns serious. Remember this, from now on, you must be absolutely ruthless to your enemies. Being merciful to them is just being cruel to yourself. You nod heavily. Why do you cultivate? Zhang Yuanshan asks. You freeze for a moment. To get stronger, to stop getting bullied, to have enough to eat. Zhang Yuanshan doesn't wait for your answer. Some fear death and seek immortality. Some crave power for their own desires. Others are forced into it. As for me, I stumbled into it by pure accident back in the day. Anyway, don't leave Wolf Fang Ridge for a while. You nod and ask, Uncle Lee, can you teach me martial arts? I want to learn swordplay. We'll skip the sword for now. You're learning footwork first. Why? You desperately need to boost your combat strength right now. Zhang Yuanshan replies deadpan, because when you can't win, you can run away. You blank out for a second. That makes total sense. He leads you back to the house and pulls out a pitch-black piece of tortoise shell. This contains the Phantom Steps technique. It's highly practical. With that, Zhang Yuanshan heads back to his room to rest. You sweep your spiritual sense over the shell, and your consciousness is pulled into a dark void. Glowing golden text instantly arranges itself into a manual and diagrams. When your mind returns to reality, crack. The tortoise shell shatters to pieces. You immediately hit the dirt and start practicing this technique with the incredibly cheesy name. 2 hours later, your legs turn to jelly, and you collapse hard onto the ground. Panting heavily, you mutter, this goddamn Phantom Steps technique is way too hard. My legs are gonna give out if I keep going. You decide to take a break from training. You need to find something else to do. You still have to raise your strength. Even though you managed to counter Wang Meng and Lu Titsu, that was only because they got careless. And because of this bizarre floating immortal sword in your hand, deep down, you're still a complete rookie with zero combat skills. If you want to get stronger, you have to keep moving. You stumble to your feet and draw the floating immortal sword. You unleash a wild flurry of slashes on the woods behind the house. Thwack, thwack, thwack. With every strike against a tree trunk, that familiar, icy surge of energy rushes through the blade and into your body. It shoots straight to your head. Ah, that feels incredible. The exhaustion from earlier vanishes instantly, leaving you feeling totally pumped up and full of energy. The more you chop, the more pumped you get. Subconsciously, you start circulating. The glazed chi cultivation technique. The surrounding spiritual energy, mixed with the energy from the sword, floods wildly into your dantian. You are amazed to find that with the help of this sword, your speed at absorbing external spiritual energy has actually increased. You get totally hyped, swinging the sword even faster. For a solid hour, you're like a tireless logging machine. The patch of woods right in front of you is literally chopped bare. Suddenly, a flash of inspiration hits your mind. The previously dense and obscure Misty Step technique suddenly appears crystal clear right before your eyes. Every single core movement plays out perfectly, like someone is personally demonstrating it right in front of you. Your body reacts faster than your brain, instinctively moving along with the visions in your head. Channeling pure energy into your legs, you tap your toes on the ground. Whoosh, your body shoots forward in an instant. Just as you're about to crash into a massive tree, you instinctively raise a leg. With a light tap of your toe against the trunk, you somehow float weightlessly right up to the treetop. You do a quick flip and drop down. As you land, a faint ripple echoes from under your feet. It feels as incredibly light as stepping on cotton. You freeze in your tracks, staring at your own legs in total disbelief. Did I really just master it? You pinch yourself hard. Ouch. It's not a dream. You actually, in less than 2 hours, relied on some random epiphany from chopping trees to master this profound movement technique. This floating immortal sword is basically a cheat code. You immediately trigger the footwork, turning into a phantom dashing through the forest. The thrill of controlling such speed makes your heart race. With your current speed, even if you run into a second-level chi cultivator, you can easily escape if you can't beat them. You come to a halt, absolutely ecstatic. If this sword can help you understand footwork, what about other martial arts? I gotta go find Zhang Yuanshan and ask for some more badass manuals. You sprint at full speed, turning into a gust of wind as you rush down to the foot of the mountain. Zhang Yuanshan is busy chopping wood. Seeing you run over looking so excited, he raises an eyebrow. What's up? Did you find another spirit stone? Even better than a spirit stone. You pant, your eyes sparkling. Uncle Lee, Do you have any more awesome sword technique manuals around here? Lend me a few more. Zhang Yuanshan frowns. Biting off more than you can chew is a bad idea. That footwork technique I mastered it. Watch. Without another word, you start showing off the misty step right in front of him. Your figure moves like a ghost, darting and weaving around him, way more agile than a rabbit. The axe in Zhang Yuanshan's hand almost drops. He stands there completely paralyzed, staring at you like you're some kind of freak. He practiced this footwork for 30 years just to reach the basic level. And you, kid, you haven't even had the manual for 2 hours. And you've actually reached full mastery. With this kind of skill, even if he tried to grab you right now, he probably wouldn't even be able to touch the hem of your shirt. He sucked in a sharp breath, staring at you with mixed emotions. You little freak, stop right there, you asked eagerly. Well, how was that? Zhang Yuanshan coughed, trying hard to play it cool. It was, all right, I guess. You couldn't even be bothered to call out his bluff. You pressed him eagerly. What about the sword techniques? I want to learn how to use a sword. Just knowing how to run won't do me any good. You need some way to attack. Zhang Yuanshan pointed toward the top of the mountain. If you want to learn swordplay, head up to the peak of Fang Ridge. There's a massive boulder up there. A profound sword technique is carved right into it. You'll have to figure it out yourself. The mountain path is completely overgrown. You'll need to hack your own way up. There's an old stone hut at the peak. Bring some rations and a bedroll. You're going to be staying up there for a few days. Saying that, he tossed you a cloth sack stuffed with spirit wheat bread and dried meat. He also threw in a bedroll and shoved a bottle of bug repellent into your hands. There are a lot of venomous bugs up there, so watch your back. Thanks, Uncle Lee. You grabbed the gear. Without wasting a single second, you slung the pack over your shoulder and dashed toward the peak. Thanks to your new movement technique, you flew up the mountain way faster than before. Whenever weeds or branches got in your way, you just drew your sword and hacked them down. Slashing and absorbing energy the whole way up, you could feel the vortex of true chi spinning wildly inside you. Even though you didn't have a spirit root, this sword had forcefully forged one for you. It was a cultivation booster even crazier than a real spirit root. 2 hours later, with the sun dipping in the west, you finally dragged yourself onto the peak of Fang Ridge. The summit was wide open. Right away, you spotted that massive 30-foot tall, moss-covered boulder. Beside it stood a completely wrecked little stone hut. You walked up to the boulder, trying to make out the words carved into it. But they were entirely choked out by tall grass and moss. You swung your sword to clear the weeds at the base of the rock. Suddenly, the floating immortal sword violently hummed. An intensely overwhelming and chaotic surge of energy violently drilled right into your palm. You let out a muffled groan. A stabbing pain, like slicing knives, tore through your meridians. There was something seriously wrong with this grass. Its energy was way stronger, and way more wild, than any of the trees you had cut down before. You looked closely at the grass. The edges of the blades were lined with razor-sharp, jagged teeth. You gently reached out to touch one, and it instantly sliced right into your finger. This grass was actually sharper than a knife. It seemed the secret lay right here around this boulder. Gritting your teeth, you fought through the agonizing pain in your meridians and kept hacking away at the weeds. Waves of that chaotic energy ruthlessly washed through your body. It was pure agony, but your true chi was surging and growing at an insane speed. You were hacking away with bloodshot eyes, completely forgetting what it meant to be tired. Finally, the sun completely dipped below the horizon. As darkness fell over the mountain, you suddenly felt the energy pouring from the floating immortal sword vanish. You slashed at the grass again, but the blade was totally dead to it. What the hell? You muttered, frowning. You swung the sword hard against the massive boulder. Clang! Sparks exploded everywhere, but the sword remained completely lifeless. Not a single drop of energy comes through. Your heart sinks. Looks like this sword is acting up again. The moment the sun goes down, it just stops working. Right as you're trying to figure it out, a massive snake, as thick as your arm, shoots out from the tall grass. It unhinges its jaws and sinks its teeth right into your calf. A blazing pain hits you, and you scream in agony. Acting purely on instinct, you swing your sword, slicing the giant snake into 2 clean pieces. It writhes on the ground in agony. But the exact second the snake is severed, the floating immortal sword suddenly vibrates. A surge of boiling hot energy rushes straight into your body. The fiery current quickly flows down to the wound on your leg, and that piercing, bone-deep pain? It completely vanishes in an instant. You freeze. Wait, wasn't this thing supposed to be dead at night? You stare at the twitching snake on the ground, and a crazy thought pops into your head. Could it be that at night, you can only activate it by slashing something living? Just then, the warm energy fades away, and the wound starts throbbing all over again. You look down. The severed snake head is actually still clamped tightly onto your leg. You slice the head off with a quick strike and pry it away from your skin. Those 2-inch long fangs are dripping with a thick, black liquid. Your wound is already swollen incredibly high, turning a terrifying shade of pitch black. It's venomous. You scramble to pull out the potion Zhang Yuanshan gave you and pour it all over the bite. But it's completely useless. The black veins are still creeping up your leg. Damn it, you glare down at the dead snake. If that burst of energy earlier could stop the pain, could it also cure the poison? Ignoring the sickening feeling in your stomach, you lunge forward and furiously hack away at the snake's corpse. With every single strike, a fresh wave of warm energy rushes into your body. It's actually working. As the warm currents continuously wash over the wound, the nasty swelling on your calf starts to go down, and the black venom slowly fades away. The liquid turns back to a healthy golden color. By the time you've mashed that heavy, 7-pound snake into a literal pulp, the wound on your leg has completely healed up. It didn't even leave a scar. You run your hand over your perfectly flawless leg, your heart pounding wildly in your chest. This floating immortal sword, it actually has the power to heal and cure poison. How is this just a sword? It's basically a walking, infinite power bank. After all that intense chaos, your stomach suddenly starts rumbling loudly. You look down at the pile of mashed snake meat. Hey, this is prime stuff. You gather up some dead branches, start a fire, and get straight to roasting that snake. An hour later, you're sitting by the fire, taking massive, satisfying bites of roasted snake meat. It is so damn good. Now perfectly full and satisfied, you lie back on a smooth, bare rock and stare up at the stars. What you discovered tonight changes everything. This sword is your greatest weapon now. You have to figure out exactly how it ticks. During the day, it slashes through anything. At night, it feeds on living targets. And it can even heal you. This thing was absolutely built for combat. You think back to the days of starving and freezing in the cold, and your eyes harden with resolve. You are never, ever going back to a life like that again. Since the heavens dropped this sword into your lap and gave you this shot, you're going to seize it with both hands. To hell with Li Tiejia. To hell with the outer sect disciples. Anyone who dares to stand in your way, you're gonna wreck them all. The wind howls fiercely across the mountain peak. With venomous snakes around, it's just not safe. You decide against spending the night up there. You sling your pack over your shoulder and execute the ethereal steps, gliding down the mountain like a nocturnal bird. Early the next morning, you wake up just as the sky starts getting light. The very first thing you do is draw your floating immortal sword, slashing right at the boulder in the courtyard. Clang! The rock cracks open. A familiar, warm current of energy surges into your body, making the corners of your mouth curl up. Perfect. The daytime function is back to normal. You quickly wash up, heating up last night's leftover snake meat for breakfast. You grab some spirit wheat cakes, strap on your water canteen, and charge back up the mountain. Once you reach the peak, you don't even stop to catch your breath. You instantly summon the floating immortal sword and deliver a vicious hack right at the massive boulder. Clang! Sparks fly everywhere. A wild, overbearing surge of energy shoots straight down the hilt and into your palm, flooding through your entire body. It's working. You break into a wide grin. Without taking a single break, you spend a full 2 hours scraping the boulder completely clean of moss. Finally, its true form is revealed. The flowing cloud sword art, the one who left this legacy, was actually a mighty true lord of the soul formation realm. Now this is the real deal. If you master this, taking down that bastard Li Tiejia will be a piece of cake. Without a second thought, you swing the floating immortal sword, hacking madly at the boulder. With every single strike, that same wild energy floods your body. This power isn't just tempering your physical flesh, it's also sharpening your focus to the extreme, giving you a photographic memory. A complex sword manual of over 2,000 words, and you somehow memorize it in a flash. In this very moment, feeling the flow, you choose to grind it out here all on your own. 4 hours later, the giant boulder in front of you suddenly begins to tremble. Dense, glowing green runes surface across the stone, and an unbelievably fierce sword intent erupts from it. What the hell? Your eyes narrow sharply, but you don't care. You unleash another full power slash right at it. Clang! The floating immortal sword shudders violently. This time, the energy surging into your body is several times more savage than before. You let out a muffled groan as the veins bulge all over your body. The brutal force rams straight into your dantian, instantly causing your stomach to swell up. It feels like your core is going to explode. Immediately after, the energy shoots straight up to your head, like a thunderbomb was shoved into your brain. The pain is so blinding you almost pass out. Screw it, you clench your jaw tightly, and frantically channel the glazed chi refining technique. The energy vortex inside you spins at breakneck speed, forcefully absorbing this borderline brutal spiritual power. It takes a full 10 breaths before the pain finally starts to fade. Your internal energy instantly skyrockets. The runes on the boulder are still flashing. You know this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. A spiritual impact of this level is something you'd normally never come across. Bring it on. You swing your sword again and again, enduring the agonizing pain of your energy core feeling like it's about to explode. Every single strike brutally forces your energy core to expand. This masochistic training goes on for 6 grueling hours, right until the spirit gathering array at the bottom of the mountain finally shuts down. The glowing runes on the boulder finally fade into darkness. You lower your hands, panting heavily. Your energy core has grown by a massive 1/3. You can even feel the threshold of the second level of chi condensation. Just a tiny bit more. You refuse to give up. Staring fiercely at a deep gash you carved into the boulder, you pour every last ounce of your strength into one final strike. The crack blasts wide open. A blinding blue light erupts. The Fuxian sword trembles more violently than ever before. An icy, bone-chilling energy shoots straight up into your skull. And in the next second, the world around you goes pitch black. The massive boulder in front of you fades into glass. The ancient text shatters into tiny glowing blue swords, swirling together to form a ghostly figure in white robes. It's the remnant soul of the ancient master. His face is a blur, but his terrifying sword aura makes you terrified to even look at him. He raises a glowing blue blade, and swings it casually at the empty air. Flowing clouds, parting the heavens. Boom, the ground instantly splits open, leaving a terrifying 100-foot crater. But the phantom doesn't stop. Spiritual energy rushes wildly into his blade. Flowing clouds, severing the stream. A single water drop blasts right through a solid rock. Flowing clouds, sweeping the tides. A massive tidal wave of sword energy devours everything in its path. Flowing clouds, swallowing the moon. He transforms into a raging tornado of blades, launching himself straight up into the sky. Finally, the ghostly figure turns to look right at you. He seems to smile, before shattering into a million specks of light that dive straight into your Fuxian sword. In a flash, all 4 sword forms are permanently burned into your brain. Like a man possessed, you grip your sword, and your body just moves on instinct. It feels stiff at first, but soon, your strikes flow like water. The spiritual energy around you is drawn in like a hurricane, and when you scream out that final move, flowing clouds, swallowing the moon, you literally turn into a miniature tornado. You launch yourself 100 feet straight up into the air. Then, the storm abruptly stops. You plunge back down to earth, but your feet hit the ground as softly as stepping on cotton. Absorbing all the shock, you steady yourself, only to realize you're standing right on the edge of a cliff. One more step, and you drop into an endless abyss. Holy crap, that was close. You break out in a cold sweat. But then, pure joy hits you. I did it. I reached enlightenment. I've mastered the flowing cloud sword art. Just to test it out, you casually flick a blade of energy at the giant boulder. Boom, the energy slices through the solid rock like a hot knife through butter. Followed by a massive crack. That ancient, unmovable boulder perfectly splits right down the middle into 2 clean halves. But before you can even celebrate, the 2 giant halves lose their balance and go tumbling violently down the mountain. Oh no, I'm in big trouble. All the color drains from your face. Rumble, rumble, crash. The deafening impact makes the entire Wolf Fang ridge shake like an earthquake. You trigger your misty steps, turning into a blur as you sprint down the mountain. The bottom of the mountain is an absolute disaster zone. One half of the boulder completely smashed the main trail, and the other half crashed straight into the pond, blasting water everywhere. Fish were flopping wildly all over the ground, and your little black was soaked to the bone. He was yelping with his tail tucked between his legs. Zhang Yuanshan and Elder Mo stood under a tree, covered in dirt and looking completely disheveled. They had clearly just dodged a bullet. Seeing you rush down the mountain, Zhang Yuanshan's face was as dark as a thundercloud. Han Feng, what the hell are you doing? You almost crushed us. Elder Mo stared at you, his eyes sharp and piercing. What is the meaning of this boulder? You couldn't even begin to explain. So, you didn't. Instead, you casually snapped a branch off a tree. Right there in front of them, you began performing the flowing cloud sword art you had just learned. Your body moved as one with the blade, and fierce sword aura swept in all directions. Even without using any spiritual energy, the terrifying power hidden within these strikes was still enough to make anyone's blood run cold. As you finished the routine, you lowered your stance and stood perfectly still. Zhang Yuanshan and Elder Mo stared at you like they were looking at a monster. Their jaws were practically on the floor. This, what kind of sword art is this? Zhang Yuanshan's voice was shaking. The flowing cloud sword art, you answered calmly. Dead silence followed. A true monarch's legacy was hidden on Wolf Fang Ridge. Everyone in the Qingyun sect knew this. But for thousands of years, no one had ever been able to comprehend it. And yet, you, a weakling without a single spiritual root, had actually mastered it. Just then, 5 streaks of light flashed across the sky. Disciples from the disciplinary hall flew in on their swords, landing right on the wrecked road. The squad captain took one look at the massive boulder blocking the path, and then at Elder Mo and Zhang Yuanshan, who had nearly been crushed. His expression was incredibly dark. Can someone tell me, what exactly happened here? Elder Mo didn't say a word. He just raised a finger and pointed toward the top of the mountain. The captain's eyes followed his finger upward. His gaze turned icy. Up the mountain. To the scene, he barked out the order. All 5 men shot up into the sky on their flying swords, heading straight for the peak where you had just been training. After the squad reached the top, they searched the area for a bit but couldn't find a single suspicious clue. One of the grunts turned to the captain and asked, "Boss?" The captain scowled and snapped, "You're asking me? Who the hell am I supposed to ask?" The grunt frowned slightly and pressed on. Our disciplinary hall holds a lot of power, and we usually bend the rules to line our own pockets. Whenever there's an opening during a patrol, we grab people first and drag them back to the hall. It was no secret that everyone, from outer to inner disciples, absolutely despised the disciplinary hall. Yet, every single year during their public recruitment, everyone scrambled to join because of how incredibly lucrative it was. The other 3 grunts also looked up at their captain, waiting for an answer. "Boss, do we make an arrest or what?" "Arrest my ass. Don't we have enough crap to deal with already?" After all, Doghead Ridge was the poorest dump on Qingyun Peak. Even the rats didn't want to live here. The scolded grunt frowned and asked cautiously, "Then what are we supposed to do?" The captain frowned deeply and replied, "What else can we do? It was just a useless piece of rock anyway. Just report it exactly as we saw it. It fell from the peak and didn't do any real damage. As for what the higher-ups decide to do about it, that's none of our damn business." If the higher-ups actually gave a crap about Doghead Ridge, it wouldn't have turned into such a dump in the first place. "Got it," the grunt nodded. With that, they all hopped onto their swords and flew back down to the base of the mountain. The squad leader gave his belt a light swipe, and a piece of rough paper popped right into his hand. Now, that belt of his was a storage belt, but it wasn't actually his personal property. It was just standard issue gear provided by the law enforcement hall, given to him as the captain of their patrol squad. The moment he leaves the hall or steps down from his captain position, that storage belt has to be handed right back. He quickly jotted down the results of this investigation on the paper, handing it over to Elder Yun and Li Yanshan. They honestly didn't want to spend another second in a godforsaken dump like Dog's Head Ridge. Once the guys from the law enforcement hall finally left, Fang Chen let out a massive sigh of relief. Well, looks like we dodged a bullet there. So, tell me, how exactly did you manage to master the flowing cloud sword technique? Elder Yun stared intently at Fang Chen, waiting for his answer. For over 1,000 years, not a single soul has been able to learn that sword technique. Yet this kid, Fang Chen, managed to master it after being at Dog's Head Ridge for barely 2 days. He was absolutely dying to know exactly how the boy pulled it off. Well, that rock suddenly lit up out of nowhere, and a bunch of little tadpoles appeared all over it. Those little tadpoles kept crawling around on the stone, and then they all just scattered. They split up the words on the rock, so I just tried practicing them in the exact order those tadpoles arranged them in. And it actually worked. Little tadpoles? Li Yanshin and Elder Yun both froze in pure shock. They had both tried to comprehend that very stone countless times, yet always came up entirely empty-handed. Neither of them had ever seen these little tadpoles Fang Chen was talking about, but they didn't doubt his words for a second. After all, the technique carved into that stone was left behind by an almighty true monarch. Throughout the glazed sword sect, there were plenty of stone tablets and boulders inscribed with secret techniques. For cultivators, it all comes down to pure fate and destiny. Yep, Fang Chen nodded his head eagerly. Elder Yun finally spoke up, looking straight at Fang Chen. Of course I can. Fang Chen nodded vigorously, and right then and there, he started drawing out the sword manual in the dirt. He carefully separated the verses line by line, exactly where those little tadpoles had stopped. But we still can't grasp it. Elder Yun let out a soft sigh and shook his head. It seems we simply aren't fated for this sword technique. Yeah, Li Yanshin nodded in quiet agreement. Alright, go ahead and gather up all those fish on the ground. We're having fish for lunch today.